Shalom. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, Bashem Rakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises, honor, glory due. This is the second installment to How You Know You're Israel. This is the Northern Kingdom edition, though. And I really want to get deep into this because, I want to reach out to the Northern Kingdom more. I really want to wake them up, bring some to the body. And it's crazy because I just found out that I was Northern Kingdom. Thought I was a Judite. I thought I was black my whole entire life, but, in the scriptures, you are who your father is. And it's a crazy story how I found out that I was Northern Kingdom. So I'm going to get right into it. Genesis, if you're following along, this is Genesis 49, starting at verse 3, where it talks about the Reubenites. And it's crazy because that's what I am, a Reubenite. So, Genesis 49, verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiledst thou it. He went up to my couch. So that's the blessing and the curse of Reuben. And I already can tell you that Reuben is Seminole Indians. So if you are a Creek Native American, Seminole Creek Native American, or Seminole from Florida, a lot of Seminoles are out there in Florida. You got Seminole, or the Aborigine, and I do know the Aborigine in Australia, I believe. Those are all Reubenites. You're from the tribe of Reuben. Moving along to verse 5, it reads, and in my last video, I read this, it talked about Levi, and I'll get to Levi later on in this video. It's something I got to explain about it. But it reads, Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down the wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Now, Simeon, if you go to the 12-tribe chart, you'll find that Simeon, right here, Simeon is the Dominicans. So, God, I read about Judah in the last video. So we're going to move along to Zebulon. Now Zebulon, this is Genesis 49, verse 13. Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon, Salat. Now if you go to the 12-tribe chart, go to Zebulon. Zebulon is the Guatemalans. Guatemala and Panama, the Mayans, basically. So down there in South America, all of my Mayan people, Guatemalans, y'all are Zebulon. I also think, if I'm not mistaken, I also think Zebulon is also Belizean, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Moving along to verse 14, Issachar. It says, Issachar is Issachar is a strong as couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Now, 12 tribe chart, go to Issachar. Issachar are the Mexicans, my Aztecs, my Aztec people. I'm gonna go to Dan, and I'm gonna explain something about Dan later on in this video. I might have to make a part 2 to the Northern Kingdom, these Northern Kingdom videos, because I got a lot of precepts. But this is verse 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, and an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heel, so that his rider shall fall backward. All right. So if we go to Dan, well, Dan's not even on here, but I could tell you, just based off of history, Dan is the so-called Vikings. Yeah, they mixed up history with that's why, over there across the seas you got Scandinavia. If I'm saying that right, I'm country. You got Scandinavia, Scandinavia. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. They were known for conquering a lot of places and naming it after their tribe, Dan. Or you got Denmark. So let me finish reading about Dan. Verse 18. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. But yeah, that's Dan. And I got some information on Dan later on in this video. Verse 19, Gad. And I could tell you that I already know what Gad is. Gad is the other Native American, the Native American Indians. Like your Choctaws, your Cherokees, not the Seminoles, but the 12 tribe chart. It says that Gad is the Native American Indians. The Navajo, all of that. Verse 19, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. One thing I know about this verse is that's true. That's straight prophecy. Because when you think about the Gadites, you think about the Native Americans, everybody in America knows, okay, it's not bullshit. Christopher Columbus didn't discover this land. What they tried to teach us in the history books, Christopher Columbus, he discovered this land, he's one of the fathers. No, fuck that. This isn't his land. This isn't the Japhites' land. Japhites meaning white folk. This ain't their land, man. This is the Gadites. They found this land. The Most High led them here. And with the pilgrims coming over, that's where it says a troop shall overcome him. They went to war back and forth with the pilgrims, this Japhite, the white man, these white people. They went to war for years. You can read about Crazy Horse, I believe is his name. Hell, even the Reubenites in Judah. You know, you can read up on the wars. You can even search it on YouTube about the wars of this land. The Gullah Wars. You can read about all of that. You know, but yeah, Gad. It says a truth shall overcome him. Yeah, they overcame the Gadites, but in the end, he shall overcome at the last. And I already know what that's talking about. It's talking about Judgment Day. It's talking about when we get delivered from here. Now going on to verse 20, Asher. It reads, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Now we go to Asher. Talks about Colombia. Asher is the Colombians and, you know, the Incas, Uruguay. Moving along to verse 21, we got Naphtali. It says Naphtali is a hen let loose a lot. He giveth goodly words. So we go over here to Naphtali, Argentina, Chile. And then we come to Joseph. I got information on this too. Matter of fact, I got a precept right after this. Verse 22, Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty power of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the power of thy Father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessing of the deep that lieth under, blessing of the breast and of the womb. The blessing of thy Father hath prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Con. Just checking to make sure if I missed anything. Yeah, that was Joseph. I read about Benjamin in the last video. He's part of the Southern Kingdom. Now, one thing I want to get clear. Y'all are probably like, oh, that's 9 tribes. Hold on, Salat. Yeah, God. Yeah, y'all are probably thinking that that's just, that's only 9 tribes. Well, the thing about it is, if you go back up to verse 5, where it says, Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not, Salat, yeah, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, into their assembly. Mine honor be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down the wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Now, where it says that they would scatter them in Israel, remember I told you that Levi was the priest of Israel in the Old Testament. They were the mediators. Everybody in Israel had to go to them for burnt offerings, to give offerings unto the Most High. And their whole entire tribe was split. You had some of Levi going into Reuben, some of Levi going into Simeon, some of Levi going into Judah, Benjamin. They were split like that. You know what I'm saying? And you can read up on that in Numbers. I think Numbers starting at chapter 3. Now, with Joseph, the thing about Joseph is, because on the 12 tribe chart, it doesn't have Joseph. Instead, it has Ephraim and Manasseh. Those are the only two that I didn't bring out. Ephraim and Manasseh. Now, you'll follow along with me to Genesis chapter 48, starting at verse 1. It reads, "And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob, and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, Power Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born into thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine. And Salak, and thy issue, which thou begattest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren and their inheritance. Now, verse 4, where it says, And said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. Verse 4 is basically where the Most High blessed Ephraim and Manasseh, and made them a part of the tribes of Israel. Their seed after them, Ephraim's seed will be of the tribe of Ephraim. Manasseh's seed will be of the tribe of Manasseh. Now, Ephraim are the so-called Puerto Ricans, and Manasseh are the so-called Cubans. Where it says in verse 5, where it says, so I'm just reading. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee in Egypt, are mine as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine. Where it says as Reuben and Simeon, this is what I'm getting from it. I feel like it's taken the place of Reuben and Simeon, because Reuben and Simeon, I know Reuben is the firstborn, and if I'm not mistaken, Simeon was the secondborn. Basically, the firstborn is supposed to get the birthright. Reuben, he got cursed because he laid with he laid with Jacob's concubine. So if you follow me to Genesis 35 and 22, it reads, "And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. And then it goes on to talking about uh, the 12, where it says the son of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon and Levi. So that right there tells you that Reuben and Simeon were the first two born, Reuben being the first. Now, I'm going to go to, hold on, let me get it. 1 Chronicles 5 and 1. And it reads, this is going into detail about what Reuben did to get cursed. It says, now the sons of Reuben, the first, Salah. Y'all have to excuse me, I'm at work. But, First Chronicles 5 and 1, it reads, now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but forasmuch as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, and the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. So, going back to Genesis 49, that right there tells you that's why Ephraim is on top. Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. I believe that the majority of northern kingdom kings came from Ephraim. And and I believe that Manasseh took Simeon's place, as being second head, because of what Simeon did with Levi, where it says, O my soul, come, verse 6, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, into their assembly, my honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down the wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. So, that's talking about, how Ephraim and Manasseh took the birthright of Reuben and Simeon. If I'm wrong on that, one of my ox, please correct me on that. But I believe that's why, Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. Now that I brought in Ephraim and Manasseh into the picture, that's way too many tribes. How can it be 12 tribes? Well, this is Dan. We're going to talk about Dan. See, the thing about Dan is Dan got destroyed from off the face of the earth. If you go with me in Amos, chapter 8, verse 14, it reads, they that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. Now, the Danites, they were a very powerful tribe. They went around conquering everything. But the problem was they turned into false gods. They started worshiping idols. They were wicked, you know, and the Most High destroyed them. So that's where pretty much, man, you can really say that, you know, Ephraim or Manasseh, they took their spot for sure. You know, that's where it became even. Now, I want to bring out how the Northern Kingdom went off and how they became Gentiles pretty much, because in the New Testament it talks about Gentiles, and you don't really hear about the Northern Kingdom in the New Testament. You only hear about Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. So follow me to 1 Kings chapter 11. And I'm going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read chapter 11 and 12. And it reads, this is 1 Kings 11 and 1. But King Solomon, I'm going to give you a brief history about King Solomon. King Solomon is the son of David, you know. He's the son of David. He was the king after David. And right here, he had many wives and he had many concubines, you know. And I'm going to explain it as I read. This is verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites. So Pharaoh, we already know this, talking about, you know, Egypt. Women of the Moabites. The Moabites are the Chinese. Ammonites. The Ammonites are the Japanese. Edomites are the Saudi Arabians. Zidonians. I can't really tell you what the Zidonians are. I gotta read more scripture on that. And the Hittites. Same with the Hittites. I want to say that they're of Ham, but I want to be sure. Verse 12. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Now the problem was that it wasn't the fact that he had women from different nations. It was the fact that he loved them. They were only supposed to be concubines. He wasn't supposed to give into their wicked ways, you know, how they came up in the world. Verse 3 reads, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord, his power, as was the heart of David, his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning Salat, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, Forasmuch as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David, thy servant, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. Verse 14. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass, when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the host was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom, for 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt. Hadad being yet a little child, and they arose out of Midian, and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which gave him an house, and appointed his victuals, and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Tahpenes, the queen. And the sister of Tahpenes bare him Genubath, his son, whom Tahpenes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers, meaning that he died and was buried with his ancestors, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, Let me depart, that I may go to mine own country. Then Pharaoh said unto him, But what hast thou lacked with me, that, behold, thou seekest to go to thine own country? And he answered, Nothing. Howbeit, let me go in any wise. And power stirred him up, another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eliada, which fled from his lord Hadadezer, Salak. Man, these names are something else. King of Zabai, or Salak Sabah. These names, boy. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band. When David slew them of Zabah, and they went to Damascus, and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did. And he abhorred Israel, and reigned over Syria. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and Ephrathite of Zerada, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo, and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was, industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at the time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with the new garment, and they two were alone in the field. Now this is the meat. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the power of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandment and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hands, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son will I give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desired, and shalt be king over Israel. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk, in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statute and my commandments as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. And I will, for this affliction, the seed of David be but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt until Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon, and all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in Israel, reigned in his stead. Now, that chapter is talking about Solomon. You know, he went off and he caused the northern kingdom to go off as well. You know, and the Most High, he basically said, you know, he gave the northern kingdom tribes to Jeroboam. I think I'm gonna end it right there. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. I'm gonna start a part 2 to this, because I still have to get to all of the curses. It's gonna be the same curses that was in the first video, my very first one, and I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna kind of explain how you know we are all cursed similar. So yeah, I want to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Bashem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All honor, glory, and praise due to any Anybody new to the truth that might stumble across this video, again, I'll put my teacher, I'll put his YouTube channels in the description along with my fellow Ox. Ox meaning brothers in Hebrew. I put them down in the description. Everyone that I know that has a channel. Shalom. I hope you were edified. Love y'all.